Hello children, welcome back in English video. It's a pleasure to be here once again, and today in this video we are going to continue the lesson we had done in previous video. Now the lesson we were doing is flying together, and it's the chapter from your English literature book Marigold, and it is the second chapter of your unit 2. So in the previous video I have explained you the half of the chapter, and today I'm going to continue this chapter, and let's hope we will end this chapter today. Before moving forward in the chapter, I want you to give you a summary, or you can say a revision of what we have done in the previous video. So let's start. Now this flying together is a story which revolves around a flock of geese, and it's all about how they flew together to save themselves. All right, once they are stuck in a net, in a hunter's net. So how do they get out of it, and who helps them to get out of it? This story is all about. Now the geese lived in a deep forest in a tall tree, and that tree was very tall and it was very leafy, and its branches were very strong like arms. So those geese, those flock of geese used to live on that tree, and they were very safe. They felt very safe over there because it was very tall tree. And among those geese, there was a old geese also. He was very wise, and one day that old geese was very worried about the small creeper that starts growing at the foot of the tree. So he is very worried to see that small creeper plant, and advise other small geese that we should cut this creeper. Now the other geese, what happens that the other geese do not obey him. They don't give any interest what the old white geese is telling them, because they thought that that is a very small plant, and what harm that plant can do to them. But what happens? The white old geese explains them that one day this creeper plant will grow. When it will grow, it will become strong and thick, and with the help of this strong and thick creeper plant, anyone can climb up the tree, and it can and harm them. But the other geese do not listen to him, do not obey him, and they just neglect what he was saying. Now one day what happened, the days passed by, and one day what happened, a hunter came there, and when that hunter came there, he saw that tree and thought that yes, here is the house of the flock of geese. Now he decides to catch them all, and what he does, with the help of that creeper plant, that strong creeper plant which had now grown up very strong and thick, he climbs up that tree and lays his net on the tree, while all the geese were out for their food, in search of food. And when in the evening they returned back, they didn't see that net. All right, because it was very dark at the evening time, sun was setting. They didn't notice that net, and what happened, they all got trapped in that net. Now when they got trapped, they tried a lot to get out of that net, but they couldn't. So they cry for help, and they start to shout. Now this was the story till now we have read, and in the previous worksheet. Now here I will be taking this story ahead. Now what happens when they are very tensed, if they were shouting to get out of that net, what does that old geese says? "Don't make a fuss now," said the wise old bird. "Long ago I told you to destroy the creeper, but you did not. Now see what has happened. Tomorrow morning the hunter will come back and kill us all." Now what happens, when they were shouting, when they all were crying, the geese were crying, The wild old geese scolds them that now don't make a fuss, don't create a drama over here, because long ago when he told them, he says, when I told you that we should destroy this creeper because it can harm us in future, and I have explained you how it can harm also. At that time you didn't obey me, you didn't listen to me. Now what will happen next? The hunter will come back in the morning and he will kill all of us. We were foolish, wept the birds. We are very sorry we did not listen to you. Please tell us what to do. Now all the poor birds were crying, and then they say sorry to the wise bird, and also they accept that we were foolish at that time, we didn't listen to you, we didn't obey you. Whatever you told us was true, but we didn't obey you. Now please forgive us and tell what to do now. What is the method of getting out of here? So they urged to him. Now, then listen carefully, replied the wise bird. When the hunter comes, you must all pretend to be dead. Just lie still. The hunter will not want dead birds. He will throw us on the ground. It will then be easy for him to climb down, collect the dead birds, and take home. When the last of us has been thrown down, we must quickly get up and fly away. Now what happens? That old bird was wise, so he thought of a plan of how to get out of that net. So he tells every bird that now what you will do, what was the plan? The plan was that he told them that you will all pretend to be dead when the hunter comes in the morning. What he said? That when the hunter will come in the morning, you will pretend to be dead. Pretend means to act to be dead. All right. Now what you have to do? You have to just lie still. You will not move. Without moving, lie still means without moving. Without moving, you will lie still and you will act as you are dead. You will pretend to be dead, and the hunter will think that we all are dead, all the birds are dead, and I am sure that that hunter would not want dead birds. All right, so he will throw us on the ground. He will throw one by one all the birds on the ground, because he cannot take he don't want that dead birds. It will then be easy for him to climb down. Now when he will throw all the birds, if they were alive, suppose if they were alive, if they did not pretend to be dead, if they pretend and if they showed that they are alive, what he would do? He would take his net along with all the birds and then he come down, right? But if he finds that the birds are all dead, then what he will do? He will throw all the birds one by one on the ground and then he will come down, right? And it will be easy for him to get down without birds. So because the birds are dead, there is no worry, all right, for him. So what he will do, if they pretend to be dead, he will throw the birds down and then he will climb down. Now then he will, for what he will climb down? He will climb down to collect the birds and take home. Now further what he says, that when the last of us has been thrown down, what we have to do? That when the last bird will be thrown down, we must get up and fly away. Now as soon as the last bird he throws down, we will all get up at once all together and we will fly away. In the morning the hunter came to the tree and climbed up. He looked at the geese in the net. They all are dead, he muttered to himself. He threw them out of the net one by one. The birds lay still until the last one had been thrown down. Then all at once they got up, flapped their wings and flew away. Now next morning what happened? The hunter came to that place, came to the tree, climbed up, and he looked at the geese in the net. Now when he looked at the geese, as according to the plan, all the birds pretended to be dead. Now when he looked at the geese, they all were lying still. So he muttered to himself. Muttered means to speak in a low tone. All right, low tone means speak sound comes, but it is not audible clearly. It is not clearly what one has said. So muttered means to speak in a low tone. So he muttered to himself that all birds are dead. Now, according to all thing was going according to the plan, that he started throwing those birds one by one on the ground. Now, and they all lied still. Now, as soon as the last bird was thrown by the hunter on the ground, they all got up at once. They flapped their wings, flapped, to move wings up and down. It is known as flap. They all flapped their wings and they flew away. The hunter was taken by surprise. From the top of the tree, he watched all the geese fly away. Now, when they all flew away at once, the hunter got very surprised that, oh, what has happened? What this has happened? He was very surprised to see all the birds that right now, just now they were all were dead, and now they all are flying. So he was very surprised. So this was the story of flying geese, and it is adapted story, and from an adapted story from book Panchtantra, a wise old bird. Now in Panchtantra, it is written by Shiv Kumar, and in Panchtantra, the story name is A Wise Old Bird. Now in this book, it is given flying together, but the real name is A Wise Old Bird, and it is adapted from the book of stories, that is Panchtantra, and is written by Shiv Kumar. Now children, I want to ask you a question, that what you have learned from this story, because each and every story which you will learn in literature reveals any story or any lesson you have learned. So what is the moral? You can say what is the moral of the story or value of the story. Now the first value we have learned from this chapter is that we should always obey or listen to our elders, or the person who is elder to us. We should listen because they have the life experiences, they know more than us. All right, so whenever some advice has been given to us from our older people or the elder people, we should listen it carefully and we should follow it also, right? The next lesson we have learned that we can achieve anything, or we can get out of any problem if we follow teamwork. In the previous chapter also you have learned about teamwork. There was a poem teamwork in your unit 2. The first chapter was teamwork, and in that poem we have discussed that how the teamwork is important to us. So here in this chapter also you have realized that teamwork, and when we put our efforts together, we can achieve anything. We can do anything. We can achieve our goals, and also we can get out of any problem if we work as a team. So as in this chapter, all the geese at last worked as a team, and they obeyed their older person also. They were able to get out of that net, or they were able to escape from the problem they were in. All right, so now this is your story, and I hope you have read this chapter. You can read this chapter once again. And now today the worksheet is to do your question answers in your notebooks. Now I hope you have done the hard words and word meanings of this chapter. It was given in the previous worksheet, right? So now today in this worksheet you will be doing the question answers of this chapter, which is given in your worksheets. So let me explain you the question answers you will do in this chapter. Now this is the instructions are that this is your worksheet which will be submitted, and the submission date is 25th July, that is Saturday. All right, you will do this work in your literature notebook in very neat and clean handwriting, and also you will put worksheet number, day and date on the top of the page as I have written on the worksheet right here. You can see here. Now you will start like worksheet 26, date 24 July 2020, day is Friday, you will write lesson name also, and don't forget to write lesson name. You can also write the writer's name also by putting a dash or by writing by Shiv Kumar. All right, now you will write answer these questions, and then you will write these question answers in your notebooks. Now let me read out the question answers and I will explain you the answers also. Question number 1 is, where did geese live? The answer is, geese lived in a tall leafy tree deep in a forest. Next is, why did the old bird advise the other birds to destroy the creeper? Now you know that why did the old bird advise other birds? Because he was worried about that small creeper plant which can harm them in future. Because he was wise, he was very far-sighted. Alright, he was very far-sighted. He thought of future, that in future what will happen. This creeper plant, right now it's very small, but in future this creeper plant will grow strong and thick, and it will be possible for anyone to climb up that tall tree. They were living in that tree. Why they were living in that tree? Because it was very tall and it was very safe. Because it was very tall, it was very safe for those flock of geese to hide in or to live in, so that no one can reach them and harm them. But when that wise old bird saw that small creeper plant growing at the foot of the tree, he thought that when it will grow, it will become strong, and because it's a creeper plant, what does creeper plant do? It needs a support. It needs any support to grow. So because it was growing in the foot of that tree, it will take support of that tall tree in which they had home. All right, so anybody can climb up that tree easily and reach them and harm them. So that's why the old bird advised the other birds to destroy the creeper, because the old bird was very wise, and according to him that creeper could grow strong and it would be possible for anyone, or you can write someone, to climb that tree and kill them all. So that's why the old bird advised the other birds to destroy the creeper. Third question is, why did the geese cry help, help? Now the question is asking why the geese were crying help, help. The geese were trapped in the hunter's net and they were not able to get out of it. So they cried help, help. Now once the geese were trapped in the hunter's net, they struggled very hard to get out of it. They tried very hard to get out of it, to get escape from it, but they couldn't. So because they want to get out of it, they wanted to get escape, they cried help, help. The fourth question is, what did the hunter do when he thought that the geese were dead? Now, this question is asking that when the hunter found that the geese are dead, what did he thought? When the hunter thought that the geese were dead, he threw them out of the net one by one on the ground. What did he thought, or what did he do? Why did the geese pretend to be dead? Now, what was the reason that geese pretended or acted to be dead? What was the reason? So what was the reason? The reason was that according to the plan which that wise old bird made, that we will stay still, we will lay still, we will pretend to be dead, we will act to be dead, and when the hunter will come, he will see all of us dead and he would not take the dead birds. So what he will do? He will throw all the birds one by one on the ground and then he will come down, because this will get easy for him to get down. So according to the plan, as the geese were trapped in the hunter's net, the wise old geese made a plan to get out of net. He told other geese that the hunter would not want dead birds. So to get out of that net, they all pretended to be dead. So what was the reason the geese pretended to be dead? That they wanted to come out of the net. So they planned that if we will pretend to be dead, the hunter will throw them out from the net one by one, and then in this way we can get escape from the net. So this is your question answer. These are your question answers for this chapter. In the next chapter we will do make sentences and reference to context, who said to whom, and other exercises also. There is one exercise in your book also. If you want, you can try to fill that exercise yourself. It's a true false exercise. You can do it, or you can try it in your book itself. Here it is on the page number 33. All right, and then when I will do, you can check your answers. Now till the next video, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.